Hey, what's up everybody? Rob here from REdisCOVERY, and today I want to talk about my experiences with addiction and recovery, and go over the first part of my story and how I got here and introduce myself, and then we can go over a little bit about what REdisCOVERY is and what my goals are for the future. So let's get started. Okay, so first of all, let me tell you a little bit about myself. So I'm 34 years old. I live in Fostoria, Ohio. I grew up in Tiffin, Ohio. I'm a recovering addict. I've been free from the chains of addiction since 2011. That's a little over 7 years. My date is July 4th, 2011. And my addiction ran for, I don't know, 5-6 years or so, give or take. The main drug I was addicted to was opiates, from pain pills to heroin. But I also was addicted to Xanax and cocaine as well. It was an everyday thing for me, pretty much. I was doing whatever I could get my hands on towards the end. So in July 2011, I got to my breaking point and I went cold turkey from all drugs. I even quit smoking cigarettes too, and I just bit the bullet and curled up in a ball, locked myself in a bedroom, cried my eyes out, screamed, and did whatever it took, and promised myself that I would never get lost in the world of drugs again. And here I am today, still going strong. So let's talk a little bit about what REdisCOVERY is and what that means. So in the first couple years of my recovery, I kind of switched my addiction from drugs to accomplishing goals that I hadn't accomplished before, taking on challenges that I was afraid of before. And the reason I did that is because I felt like I couldn't just get off drugs and then everything was going to be great. I had to work on the underlying reasons of why I became a drug addict to begin with. So basically, I wanted to fix my life up, and make things better. So I started just picking things that, I should have already had done. And I just started knocking things out. So I think I was like 27. I hadn't had my license yet. I had barely worked a job, and when I did, it was really no longer than like a month. I had never been to college. Let's see what else. I dropped out of school, things like that. So immediately I got my license, I got a car, I got a good job, I got my GED. I started saving money. I continued to not smoke cigarettes, not do drugs, completely cut off contact from any individual that I used drugs with before, and all that. So, and over time, I started to realize that all these things that I was doing, I could have done before, but I was either too scared or too lazy or whatever. So along this journey, I kind of discovered that I had all these like inner strengths, I guess, and just this drive, this incredible drive and willpower that if I channeled it on the right stuff, had a really positive impact on my life. And with the drug addiction, I had just channeled it onto, negative things. So in a sense, when I got through detox and withdrawals, it was almost like I was rediscovering who I was before and who I was about to be. And that's where the term REdisCOVERY came from. Basically, through recovery, we rediscover ourselves. So that's where that came from. It wasn't until 4 or 5 years into my recovery, though, that I came up with this term and started telling other people about it. But basically, throughout the whole 7 years of my recovery, I have pretty much always been available to people who come to me for advice on addiction and recovery, whether it's an addict themselves or a family member of an addict, or just a friend or something, whatever it may be. As soon as somebody reaches out to me, pretty much my whole world around me just stops. Just because of what I've been through, and I know how hard it is, but I also know the possibilities. And I remember when I was going through it back in 2011, it wasn't as big of a deal then, and there wasn't as many rehabs or resources and stuff. So when I was going through what I was going through, it was new. There wasn't a lot of people around that understood how I felt, what withdrawals were. People were just now, learning about it. So it was hard to find somebody who understood what I was going through. And that was really what made it so hard, because I didn't have anybody that I could, cry to or talk to about the withdrawal pains, the emotional pains, the thoughts I was having, and how terrible it was, and anybody to be like, I know what you're going through. So I try my best to be able to be that person for other people. With the first few years of going through recovery, I was actually enrolled in college for social work, and that was kind of my plan, was to become a guidance counselor or something. And along the way, I guess I just got so wrapped up in my own life and so busy doing what I was doing, and had seen many people who I thought I was helping just fall back into the cycle of addiction, that I kind of just, I'll be honest, I lost hope. I kind of realized that for the most part, I know this is kind of a controversial statement, but for the most part, people that don't want to get clean aren't really going to get clean. I'm not saying you can't influence somebody or inspire somebody or help lead them down the right path, because you absolutely can. But you can't force anybody to get clean if they don't want to. So anyways, I got back into music. If you don't know by now, I'm a huge music guy. I'm a producer, rapper, singer, songwriter, sound engineer, guitar player, bass player, drummer, piano player. I mean, pretty much anything to do with music. And I love all types of music: rock, metal, rap, pop, R&B, country, pretty much everything. So, but anyways, when I fell into my addiction real deep, I lost all my connection with music. My recording studio, all my equipment, everything I owned, everything I had worked so hard for was gone. So when I got into my recovery phase, I slowly started to get that stuff back and got the motivation back to want to make music. And that is what took over, But I guess 4 or 5 years into recovery, the epidemic got worse. The people who weren't using drugs when I was using drugs were now using drugs. And people were dying left and right. And it seemed like every month the people who were dying were getting closer and closer to me. And eventually I woke up one day and got a phone call that one of my friends had passed away. He wasn't my best friend, but it's a face that I've seen off and on throughout my a big part of my adulthood, I guess you would say. Known him for many years, and we had a relationship that was based on, I guess, recovery. He watched me go from my worst, and he watched me, pick myself back up, and then I watched him fall apart. And, many times he would recover and come to me and talk to me, and he would be just so proud of, how far he's gotten. And he would always tell me how proud of me he was. And, that was very inspiring to me. Part of the things that keep me going and keep me focused is those people who tell me they look up to me and say that I have to do with their success in recovery. Keeps me going. So he ended up passing away from an overdose, and at first I think I was kind of in shock about it, and also at the same time not really that surprised, because because he was very extreme in a lot of what he did. And unfortunately, I think a lot of us kind of thought that that was going to happen. I mean, none of us wanted it to, but it did, and it hit hard for me. So I can imagine how it hit for his family members and his best friends and, people closer to him. But anyways, when that happened, it woke me up, and I just kind of said to myself, I can't just not do anything, even if I try to help 30 people and only one person actually, comes through and gets better, then it's still worth it. Not only that, but when you get online on social media, and social media is terrible when it comes to addiction. Everybody who doesn't know anything seems to know everything. And there's a lot of very harsh things said about addicts. And when you have somebody who you cared about die and pass away, when you hear those things, you feel like they're talking about them directly. So, and I felt like that was unfair because, these people aren't here to defend themselves. Kind of felt like I could, speak for them since they were no longer here to speak for themselves. And so that's when I kind of started thinking, what could I do to help people other than, posting on Facebook saying, hey, if anybody needs any help, message me. What if I make some kind of, social media page where people can connect with other people locally or whatever and share resources, so that when somebody does decide to get clean, there's less time from the idea in between the idea and actually, getting into detox, or that, just to make it an easier process to do so, because, when someone's going through withdrawals, they don't want to get out of bed, let alone call somewhere and set up something and, exchange their insurance information and ask all these questions and things like that. I mean, 90% of the time when people go into detox, the person that calls the rehab facility isn't even the addict themselves. So anyways, so that was the first idea. And, I wanted to have a brand behind it because, the important part is for my message to be louder and to reach more people who might have looked it over before. So I thought, what better way than to use, REdisCOVERY as an inspiring, positive word or message for people. And also, I realized it was a way for people to celebrate recovery, because, and I know a lot of people complain on social media that they get tired of hearing about people every day celebrating that they're clean and stuff like that. And I get it. Like, anything can be annoying if it's over and over again. But until you understand what it's like to not worry about dying every day and having your life back, then you really don't understand why somebody would want to celebrate it every day. But it's hard not to. It's an amazing thing, because you don't just go back to normal and feel the same way somebody else does who's never done drugs. You're literally in paradise. You're rediscovering everything: the light of the sun, the wind, in your face, a nice, warm, relaxing, sunny day outside. Stuff you forgot about and didn't notice from being so deep into your drug addiction. So anyways, I thought it would be cool to come up with a t-shirt idea so people who were in recovery could show off their pride, because some people are, go the anonymous route. Some people, they're loud and proud, like me, and they want everybody to know, because they want everybody to know that recovery is possible, and they want to inspire other people. So that's kind of where it started. And I started reaching out to other people who I had known who went through recovery and had experience with addiction, and family members of people who went through addiction, and kind of got together and we all kind of exchanged ideas. And so basically what we came up with is just to come up with an online social media page for resources and information, and a place to share stories and experiences and be able to celebrate openly recovery and to help others as well. And as soon as I kind of launched this idea, it almost immediately became overwhelming. I'll be honest. I had a lot of people reach out to me. I started attending events. I spoke at a few meetings. We got some flyers going, and every event I went to, I started taking down information of every speaker, every table that was set up, every organization, just to kind of get an idea of who these people were, what they could offer. So when someone came to me, I could lead them in the right direction. It was working pretty well because I got a lot of information, and I had lots of footage of, live speakers that, I had moments at these events where I just felt like, man, I wish I could take those people who are so negative about addiction and bring them here, because if they could see these powerful speeches and they could, feel the emotion and the energy, for instance, I was at one event, it was Taking Back Tiffin in Tiffin, Ohio. And, I had a moment where I looked around and there was, I don't know, I'm going to guess like between 60 and 100 people, maybe more, maybe less. And, half, if not more, of these people at one point were, stealing things or lying and manipulating their way to another fix. And now they're all gathering together in a school to stand on stage loud and proud and speak about how far they've came in their recovery. And, everybody's trying to help each other. And you could just feel the vibe, the energy and the love. And it was really cool. And I just wanted people to see that. So I was taking videos of that. And, that's part of the REdisCOVERY thing, is I wanted to create a YouTube channel so I could share all my experiences and share my stories and do interviews with people and things like that. Well, as I said, when I started it got kind of overwhelming. I'm a full-time student at Full Sail University. I also work a job, and I actually have two jobs. I also own my own private recording studio and independent label, and I'm also in 2 different music group projects. So I have a lot going on, and trying to balance all that can kind of be difficult sometimes. So I did a whole lot of stuff for the REdisCOVERY project, and then I kind of took a break from that because I had a music project, a lot of stuff come up that I had to finish for that. And so I haven't been able to upload a lot of videos. I have a lot of footage that just needs edited and uploaded. So I just wanted to kind of catch up with everybody, introduce myself, let you know a little bit about my story, the purpose of REdisCOVERY, what it means, and how it all started. I feel like I barely touched base on that. I might have kind of been all over the place with my story, but I needed to get something up for you guys to see and let you know a little bit about me. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up so the video's not too long, which I'm sure it probably already is. But thanks for watching. Be on the lookout. I will post some more videos. I want to do more short videos with specific concepts, so you don't have to watch 30 minutes of me talking and blabbing just to learn about something or whatever. So that's all for now. I will be back hopefully sooner than later. If anybody needs any help or needs pointed in the right direction or some advice with recovery or anything like that, you can message me on Facebook on the REdisCOVERY Facebook page. You can email me at rob@studiowarrior.com. You can call me 419-379-4786. And if you can't get a hold of me, there's lots of great people out there that I've met through this process that do the same thing but way more and have more time dedicated to that. So feel free to look around. The resources are there. Until next time, take care. I'll see you later. That's when the scheming starts. It's like a demon that you feed your soul to. Takes control, then it begins to mold you until your heart is cold enough. There ain't a drug you won't do. Now nobody knows you. Nobody's there to hold you. Only there to scold you and say that they fucking told you. That's why it's lonely, cause nobody really understands. Nobody gives a damn until it's someone close to them. That's when it hits you hard. That's when it makes you cry. The day you look into their eyes and see an angel die. Caught up in a tainted life, standing by while our friends and our brothers, our sisters and mothers succumb to the hype. Angels die when they don't have the strength to fight. Baby, you're right here too late to change your fate, so we pray to the sky. Now if I could just take the strength I had, I'd gladly pass
pass it on to people. I've been up all night just trying to write a rap for all you people on this earth and in the sky. So many pass from all this evil, and what's sad is they just wanna argue facts about diseases. Guess you're smarter than a doctor in a college that he went to. All the knowledge that you got from something you ain't never been through. Sit your I'm better than you, cause I've never abused drugs. Ass down for you get punched in the face and knocked the fuck out. One day it could be you that's curled up in a ball, begging, pleading for relief, cause you can't eat or sleep at all. Bones aching, body shaking, you just wish that you were not sick. And you know you're only one phone call away from a Suboxone. This is not the type of song I thought I'd write about my friends. It's too early for goodbyes, it's not the time for life to end. I can't help but think that maybe if I said a little more, they never would have found you lifeless on the floor when angels die.